Hello everyone, this is Rugio Duelis. I'm back with another video and another deck profile. I did once again. And this one is same thing as last week, a few days ago, I believe. I once again top this time with good old Tenpai Dragon. I believe I've only topped once with the deck. I did show a deck profile regarding Tenpai Dragon, but this time I got my hands on this big guy over here. And as you can see, I'm also playing this. Sure, some people might not like Floodgate cards, but this card does the job. I'm prepping for Nets. This may or may not be the deck I play, but again, this is not the final version of the deck, but I did tweak a few cards here and there. This is probably one of my best versions of this deck. Again, not everyone is a fan of Tenpai Dragon, but I am. I'm playing the deck. I like the deck. I like what it does. It just, going second, just ignorantly OTKs you. And again, it's like, at least with this deck, Konami has made the battle phase relevant to an extent, which is good. The deck is just gonna get better with the new cards, like the Dora Draco, the Sangen Kaiho, aka the Trap card, and of course Tenpai Dragon Genroku, which you play as a 2-off in this deck. But let's not waste any time, guys. Again, some of you may or may not like this deck, but I'm doing the deck profile, so for those of you who really like this deck, here it is. Let's start things off, and let's not waste any time. So before I start, I'll do what I did not do in my last video, which is like explain my matches. Also, it was 5 rounds. It was in the same tournament spot. I went 3-2, aka I won 3 rounds and lost 2 rounds. Came in top 8, 7th place, which is not too bad. It's locals, but still, like, you gotta play where you can play. When you work at like 40+ hours a week and you can't go to all your locals, well, you gotta go to the locals that you can go on the weekends. So I won against Melodious. I lost to the my wins were against Melodious, Pure Sprite, and Heroes. And my losses were against like Runic for Hire with Sprite and Horus small package. And the other deck that I lost to was Voiceless Voice, Pure Voiceless Voice. And those were my 3 wins and my 2 losses. All right, I got 7th place, top 8. Let's get on to the Tenpai Dragon deck profile. Again, guys, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, this is not the final version of the deck, but more or less close enough. This is one of the best builds I've made. To me, it's probably the best way to play this deck and, like, you know, just ignorantly OTK your opponent as fast as possible. So let's start off with the obvious cards. 3 copies of Tenpai Dragon Pydra. You max out on this card, or 2. I've noticed that in Japan /OCG they're starting to play 2 copies of this card. Again, all up to personal preference. I still want to max out on him because, like, you need him for the grind game. You want to see him ASAP. And again, this card is like the $20-$25 card of the deck. So I believe may have gotten down in price, but again, Pydra, continuous effect. Fire Dragon monsters, you don't take any battle damage from Fire Dragon monsters, and on summon, he either sets or searches any Tenpai Dragon / Sangen spell or trap, aka sets or adds to your field spell or your quick play spell. So yeah, you play him as a 3-off. 3 copies of Chandra. Chandra is the tuners / level 4 dragon. His effect: if you control any Fire Dragon monster, including another copy of itself, you can special summon another Chandra you can special summon him from your hand, not inherit special summon. I learned that the hard way, I believe, like 2 to 3 weeks ago, where, like, if you do his effect, like, it's considered a monster effect and not an inherit special summon. Sadly, that's just how it is. But and again, during damage step, this guy lets you special summon him or the other one that I will be showing you later, the green one, aka Fadra. And again, all the Tenpai Dragon monsters, during the battle phase, they're a quick effect synchro summon. And yep, that is this card you definitely have to max out on. He's the tuner. You definitely have to play 3. When we get Genroku, like, it'll be 5 tuners in the deck. So, yep, that's 3 and 3. Moving on. And finally, to cop for the main Tenpai Dragon monster, of course, the final one. Tenpai Dragon Fadra, same thing. They all synchro summon during the battle phase. As long as he's on the field, Fire Dragon monsters can't be destroyed by battle. So basically all 3 of them are Fire Dragons. So as long as he's on the field, they're protected from battle destruction. And on summon, he's a Monster Reborn for any of them. And the Monster Reborn effect also works during the damage step. So yeah, 2 Fadra. I know on some builds they are just playing 1. I want to play 2 for the grind game. I think this card is pretty decent. Sadly, it's true that you do not want to open this card up. Like, this is one of those cards that, like, maybe you open up the field spell and you send, like, Chandra or Pydra to the graveyard in search of and resolve the field spell search effect. Then you can normal summon this guy and just go from there. But yeah, 2 Fadra's fine. Let's get the main monsters out of the way. Because now we're going into the hand traps. So yeah, the 8 Tenpai Dragon monsters. Soon to be 10 shortly. Maybe play a Dora Draco. We'll find out soon enough. Time will tell. Now for the hand traps. All the powerful hand traps in the world you could ask for. So, the kind of obligatory Bestial Magnamud. Some people side deck this card. This card should be main deck. It's just that good if you get it out and you resolve him. Plus he's a level 6 with the Chandra. You can auto make the level 10 immediately, or even a Trident Dragion. So yeah, he's limited, so for good reason. You play him as a 1-of. Still very powerful card. People will not like this card, but this card is still legal, so let's use it while it's still legal, and it is our Max C good old Dimension Shifter. A lot of people are side decking the Shifter for Tenpai Dragon. I'm main decking it. It's just that good. You can still OTK under Shifter for the most part. Moving on with the hand traps. Another one that might conflict, but still, it's also very great, and it's going to get better now once we get to Infinite Forbidden Nationals and beyond. Drolin Lockbird to stop those combo decks from playing the game. All the lingering, powerful hand traps you could ask for. And speaking of hand traps, continuing on with that, good old generic and trustworthy Ash Blossom. And finally, 3 copies of this underrated little guy, DD Crow. To me, he's better than the Bestials, at least for this deck. And again, he hits everything. The Bestials only hit light and dark. Again, all up to personal preference. That's 13 hand traps. I might bump it up to 3 more. But yeah, again, lost twice, won 3 times. And 13 hand traps. Again, might bump it up to more. But that's it for the hand traps. I am not playing Infinite Impermanence or Valor. Those cards are good in their own right. But to me, these are the best hand traps for this deck moving forward. I believe that's it for the monsters. Let's move on to the spells. No trap cards in the main deck, at least for now. In the future, that might change. 3 copies of the Sungen Summoning, aka the field spell, which makes your Tenpai Dragons unaffected, and you get a search and discard a card when you choose to commit to the searching effect. Sometimes you don't need to, but sometimes you do. 3 copies of Sungen Kaiman, the quick play spell. You resolve this card the right way, you win the game. That's it. Max out on both. Like, you have to max out on both cards. 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity, which this is the only format in which this card is at 3 and we can, like, use it and abuse it the most in a way. Because in Master Duel and OCG, this card is at 1. Also, we need a ban list. Like, Master Duel and OCG just got their ban list. I'm pretty sure we'll get one before Nats, hopefully. But yeah, these 9 cards, they get us to what we need to. And the deck can still OTK under this and under Shifter. So, the 1 Terraforming. It's limited for a reason. Get to this all the more faster. The 1 Set Rotation. I'm playing this again. This card is bonkers if you resolve it as well. Some people don't play it. I'm playing it for now. I may or may not cut it. But so far it's doing the job. It's doing what it's supposed to. No other player that I know of is playing this card. It's a one-off. It's limited. The Magical Midbreaker Field. You activate it during main phase 1. Protects you from Imperm and Veiler. Long story short. And you can also use this to give this to your opponent and get this out all the more faster. But yeah. Ugh. Apologies. So 1/1/1. These cards are limited for a reason. Speaking of limited cards, we don't want any surprise hand traps going our way, like an Ash Blossom or a Ghost Ogre or a Droll and Lockbird or anything like that. So, of course, we main deck that. The one back row removal. We have more, but this is limited for a reason, so this does the job when it needs to. We are still main decking 3 of this, because this is one of the best board breakers this format. So good. I mean, against combo decks, like, you get rid of certain cards. It is bad if, like, you gotta get rid of certain cards in your hand, and you might not have full combo. For Tenpai Dragon, for the most part, if you know, you do your lines very well, and you resolve this, like, you might still have game for the most part. I did up the number of cards in the deck, so to finish off with the spells, first I'll reveal these. I am not playing Lightning Storm in the deck anymore. I chose to swap Lightning Storm for these. And I do side deck the third one. To me, I think this is better. This is so versatile, so versatile. They make you go first. Like, you do this like on a certain like floodgate, like field spell or continuous spell or anything like that. Or even like a skill drain anti-spell, something like that. This card actually helped me win a game in the final round with my opponent trying to anti-spell Fragrance me. So yeah, I'm playing 2 of this and 1 of this. That's 3 cards. 3 back row removal. For now, I decided to cut Lightning Storm completely. I am reiterating, but bear with me on that. That's just the way I am. And the final 2 cards to finish things off, 2 of this. I am main decking this for now. Probably later, I'm going to side deck it. 2 copies of Gravekeeper's Inscription. Did this card came up? Not so much. I might go back to full-on side decking this card. But yeah, this, it's decent. It's pretty good. But no Snake Eye players were seen in this tournament that I remember, that I know of, that I saw. But yeah, that's the 42 card main deck. No trap cards for the main deck this build. So yeah, let's put these back and let's go on to the extra deck. So the extra deck. A few things have changed, but you know, if you know about Tenpai Dragon, not too much really. I finally got him. I had to pay a big fee for him, but I did manage to get him. I decided to bump this card up to 2. Still 2 of this. These 2, they resurrect after 3 attacks have been declared on either player's turn. They resurrect themselves from the graveyard. Then they pop this one pops a back row. This one pops any card. And again, this the level 10 is the boss monster. So in battle phase, if you have him on the field, your opponent cannot activate anything unless he already has like a lingering effect on the field or for the turn. And this guy on summon, he's a monster reborn for any of the other Tenpai Dragons, and he locks you into dragons. Yep, that's the Tenpai Dragon Synchro monsters. Not you, of course. You're kind of like the original Tenpai Dragon monster from back in the day, but you also do your job. This card can break boards by itself if your opponent doesn't have too much disruption. It's so good in this deck. Like, Typhon is... I really like Typhon a lot. It's so great in this deck. The 1 Spheres. Destroy the board. Good old Black Rose Dragon. Especially under the field spell, you're guaranteed to destroy the board. Huibel to pop anything on summon if you're trying to go for the OTK. This is your time card, the Blackwing Assault Dragon. And these are the cards that don't come up a lot. At least recently. This, I gotta learn how to play a little bit better, because this card is like... It can be broken, but it requires a little bit of more... level of play. But I still gotta keep playing it to see when I can use it. But it can be a board destroyer. This is for you, Bell. This is for obscure decks that you might find. This is for the mirror match. And I'm testing this card. I got it recently. The Cyber's Quantum Dragon. I may or may not use... I might cut it. It's okay, but I'm not sure. Like this is not enough. This is probably not rarely going to be enough to guarantee game, but it's still a pretty good tech choice. That is the extra deck. Let us go to the side deck. Despite everything that happened in this tournament, I really enjoyed it. Like I definitely had much fun in this tournament than I did last week / a few days ago with Ubel. Even with Ubel, I did have fun, but I think I still have to up. Still have to up my skill level with Ubel, most definitely. I definitely got to know how to use the Phantom of Ubel effectively. So for the side deck, Mr. Floodgate, Kwakimiru Drago. This is basically barrier statue, but for a Tenpai Dragon for what it was for Floowandereeze. I still got to remember how to use this card, because unfortunately, I did a misplay in which I had this card opening hand for the first time as I was playing this deck. Normal summon. I did my whatever it is I had to do, but I did not have a dragon in hand. This card was destroyed. And it was against a very good player and a close friend of mine. And I felt bad. That was a huge mistake. But if you can remember if you open up this card and you remember to keep a dragon in your hand against certain decks, this card just auto wins games unless your opponent opens Impermanence or Forbidden Droplet or Chalice and stuff like that. Did not play this. But I might keep this because of the gimmick puppet like FTK that might come up on Nationals and beyond. Maybe cut it to 1. Depends. I'm still gonna be thinking back and forth on this card. Also, this card is good against the mirror match. If you can resolve it in main phase 1, it guarantees you another turn. You lose 2k, but like if you can OTK next turn, it's fine. Continuing, one of this and one of this. Floodgate cards. I was playing 2 or 3 of this in the past, but no one. And this is very, very, very good for Snake Eyes. I'm playing this because I know this card is very good in this deck. Very powerful Floodgate. You get away with main decking it, but I don't want to run into like a mono deck that this card does not affect, so side decking it for now. Old school Drone Lockbird reincarnation like Lock, if you remember what this card did in the Link era. Side decking this, did not see it. Like, I think if I'm going to play this, I have to play Talons in this deck. I definitely do think so, because like, I mean, he does get these, but I've yet to find myself in a situation where I use this to set these. Like, it's very rare in this deck, so I'll probably maybe put this in, or like put Talons in the side deck in combination with this, because I think Talons would be good for like breaking boards apart. This wins games if you go first, for the most part. 3rd Inscription, and 3rd Cosmic Cyclone for the side deck. And that's it, guys. That is it for the main, extra, and side. All right. Here. Here and here. That is it, everyone. That is my Tenpai Dragon deck list for the top 8, 7th place. Prepping. Again, I'm prepping for Nats. In a few hours, I'll be going to my friend's house to play test with this deck. I'll also be playing Ubel a bit more because I really got to master Ubel. I like this deck. I also like Ubel and Floowandereeze. I won't stop playing Floowandereeze for all those Floowandereeze fans. Even though the world hates us, I like the birds, but I also like these fire dragons, and I also like Ubel and a certain other deck that when my brain gets bigger, I'll start to cook with that certain 4th deck, hopefully someday. But I need more consistent proof. So until then, these 3 decks will have to suffice. But I like these just as much. That's it. You guys have fun. Thank you for watching the video, and play if you can. 2 thumbs way up. Have fun, guys.